the Cardinals are an absolute hot mess. Not just a mess, but a mess that has been heated to make it more of a mess. And like that is
That's
precisely what they are.
perfect.
They went and they lost 8 in a row, 2-8 in their last 10, 11-24 overall. They have the worst record in the National League. And then to make things worse, so we talked about the Tyler O'Neill thing earlier, where manager Ollie Marmol called him out for not hustling, I think is what it was. Anyway,
It was a bunch of hocus pocus, is what it was.
well, so it was something to do with like basically we have a certain way we do things around here, and he benched him
That's what it
because he wasn't
was.
up to that, right?
Yeah.
Well, Willson Contreras has been pulled from being catcher, not benched, but he's no longer going to be the catcher. They said initially that he was going to play outfield and DH, which I thought was interesting. They're going to move him to the outfield. Like I'll give him this. He moves well for a catcher, right?
Yeah, he's very athletic. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I would never put him in the outfield though,
Never.
ever.
Same.
Yeah, I thought that was the weirdest part of all of it.
Uh,
But anyway, they came back, they followed up, and they said that he's not going to be put in the outfield. He's just going to DH, but he will not catch.
Revoked.
Revoked. Yes. Like what? So first
Man.
off, what's going on here? Because it's not only this, but it's also like, from what I understand, is like they've cited, basically said that he doesn't when he's catching. I don't know if this is when he's catching or in general. He doesn't fit the Cardinals culture. Is one thing that they've said.
They've come
Like
out and said that?
like he doesn't fit the Cardinals way, right? And okay, so first off, that's your fault for bringing a guy
Yeah.
in who you don't think fits the Cardinals way. But
Yeah.
to pull him from behind the plate, like okay, even Denise, the host of the North Chicago Baseball Together podcast, right? Diehard Cubs fan, knows Willson Contreras' like entire career because he was there, right? She
Yeah.
has even said he's not the greatest framer, and that I think we've seen on Instagram enough to be like, yeah, no, not good at that.
Totally. Yeah,
Not the
yeah.
best defensively, but the dude's got a cannon, and I think that's why they put him back there to begin with.
100%. And his pickoff attempts are often successful.
Right, because he's very, very good at that, and I think that makes up for other areas that he's lacking.
Sure.
So for them to be like, so this is kind of the same treatment that Gary Sanchez got a little bit in New York. Like, okay, you're a little bit of a liability defensively, but let's keep you in the lineup for your bat, right?
Yeah.
DH.
Yeah.
But for them to say that he doesn't fit the culture,
Whoops.
rut-row.
Yeah,
So
Rutrow is right.
are they gonna be dealing him soon?
That's what it
Are they
sounds like.
gonna say that the Willson Contreras experiment failed and they're gonna deal him for cheap?
I don't understand. Like, what are they going to do? I don't know who they have in reserves. But so check this out. Last season with the Cubs, he was an all-star, first of all. 113 games he played with the Cubs, which is a little low, I would say, but
No, I
not
think it's right
not a
on par for catchers, just because they give them
catcher. I
a couple
forget
days
that's
off a week.
because catchers. Yeah, right. He was, let's see, batting average 243, 349, 466, OPS at 815. He worked 45 walks, 103 strikeouts, and 22 home runs. This year, he's got 2 home runs. That's it.
It's still early though. Like for him to
Yeah.
only have 2 home runs this far, I wouldn't be concerned with that.
Well, and here's what I want to draw your attention to. I know it's still early. His slash line right now is 265, 341, 393. It's just not that different. And when it's different, if it's lower, it's not that bad. When it's, but in the case of average,
It
he's
doesn't go
20
that much
points
higher.
up.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
don't get it.
So I don't know. So I was listening to Samson today, and this is one thing he was talking about. He's like they're basically blaming because the problem with in St. Louis is the pitching,
Oh,
and
yeah.
basically what he said is they're blaming the problems. What this is blaming the problems with the pitching staff on Willson Contreras.
Which is horse hockey, Samson would say.
He does say that. You're right.
It's horse hockey. He's so right. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's what he said, but he should have because it's true.
Yeah, I think he just laughed because it's It's unreal. You've
Yeah.
got an all-star catcher who you're using as the scapegoat for your terrible pitching staff. Like,
Yeah.
maybe
Well, and not just that.
look at the staff itself.
Yeah, they're citing culture, which we know is a garbage can right now. It's an entire
Yeah.
dumpster fire culturally. It's super
Well,
clear.
so this team made the playoffs last year, and granted,
Yeah.
you had Albert Pujols and you had Yadi or Molina to kind of
Yadi
hold things
Molina,
together, right?
Yeah.
But who is your common denominator there, though, other than like your like your players' leadership,
Yeah.
like maybe your manager,
Yeah.
because he seems to be putting his foot in his mouth consistently.
Yep.
I don't know,
Uh,
and for
if
some reason
I'm a
they're not going to fire him. I don't know.
well, they should.
They
I
should. They
think.
really should. Yeah.
I think we should call for it, like officially right now, unless it's already been said by someone else, which I'm sure it has.
Well,
But
I mean, fans have been saying it on Twitter, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they fired him by the end of the month. This team rallied and made the playoffs. I would
totally
not be surprised if that happened.
100% agree with you. There's no reason for them to be this bad. Yes,
No.
they could shore up their pitching a little bit. And yes, they could do some developmental work with the guys they already have. Absolutely. But pitching is such a mental problem when it's a problem that if the clubhouse culture is off, it's very likely going to spin that out of control. For sure.
Right. Got to go in there and talk to him about the have to.
You gotta get the have to.
I don't think Marmal's gonna have that conversation with him about the have to.
He doesn't know about the have to.
I don't think he does.
No idea.
I think you're right.